Correspondent Theophilus Elamah has been following this story since it broke in the morning. He was also at the surgical emergency unit of Lassoth where the victims are being taken care of. He joins me live on the news at 7. Theo, give us an update of what's happening right now at Lassoth.
Okay, so Nifemi, the situation at Lassoth is Lassoth officials have ensured that everybody brought in here from the scene of the incident are well taken care of. Like you can see, we're at the triage here where everyone was brought in, and Lagos State government also came in here to ascertain the level at which the level of the victims, of course, and the level of medical care the victims are enjoying. The triage here is where the victims were brought in, and of course they were taken to different wards and units, and of course from here taken to different hospitals for treatment. Now, someone is going to be giving us some form of updates on this situation, and is the Chief Medical Director of the Lagos State University Teaching Hospital, Professor Adetokunbo Fabanwo. Thank you very much for talking to us now, for joining us at this point. Now, looking at the situation here, explain what happened when everyone was brought into this place.
Okay, so thank you very much. As early as about 8 o'clock this morning, about 85 victims of that unfortunate accident were brought in, and they were triaged here. The most amazing part was the prompt and excellent response that we were able to put up. And that has been occasioned by the fact that this hospital is in the habit of having monthly drills for disasters. We have a disaster preparedness committee that runs monthly drills. So this kind of thing did not meet us unprepared. We've always been practicing for it. So we were able to mobilize all the doctors, all the nurses, all the scientists, pharmacists. Everybody was on site doing one thing or the other in the triaging. And I need to explain that triaging for mass casualties of that number is usually done in an open space. And we were even able to bring in canopies to cover them so that they are not exposed to the sun. So, and we did that. From doing that, we took some people to the theater. We've operated so far on about 6 of the victims successfully. About 4 of them are in our intensive care units. Some have been moved to other general hospitals. We've moved some of them to really Agege General Hospital, Bagada General, the Tollgate Ambulance Center, as well as General Hospital Lagos. And then the others have been able to carry out various investigations like x-rays, scans, etc., etc. And a few are still waiting to have surgeries, and quite a number have been moved to the wards. So as you can see, the triage area now is completely empty. Every single patient has been sorted out. And by the way, we received 17 additional patients, making a total of 102.
That's 102 patients.
Yes, were dealt with in Lassoth today.
Okay, so you talked about triaging now. Explain the concept, because a video went viral earlier today about and saying the government was treating patients outside the wards. Explain that to us.
I've spoken a bit about it, but what it means, when you triage, you are trying to assess severities of injuries. You are trying to sort out patients. You are trying to see who has the most severe injuries that will be dealt with immediately, who can still be attended to later. That's the concept of triaging. And when you triage a large number of patients, you need space. So you need space to place them well on the floor so that health workers can move freely around and be able to move people to the side, move people to one side or the other, so that you can then start dealing with them one by one. So what people got wrong is the fact that they were mistaking triaging for treatment. Okay. They were not being treated on the floor. We were triaging. And in the process of triaging, of course, you have to carry out some first aid measures. So quite a number of them were on drips, quite a number were already on blood, quite a number had already had POP applied to their injuries, and then they moved to the wards. As you can see, the place is completely empty now.
Thank you very much, Chief Medical Director of LASUTH. Thank you so much for talking to us. So, Nifemi, it's also important to know that the Lagos state government is taking over the treatment of every victim that was brought into here, and of course, not just in this hospital, but in other hospitals as well that they were taken into.
Perhaps the concept of triaging explains the viral video that you talked about earlier, Theophilus. Theophilus Elamah live for us at LASUTH.